Okay, here we go with part 3 of all of the narrative going on at Silverstone, where they tried to take down Sir Lewis Hamilton, vilify him, causing him to be the target of abuse on social media. And we know the dynamics of that abuse are going to be racially motivated as well. So, we'll recap what Ted, the fucking village idiot in the pits, is now saying. Okay? Now, you want to make your minds up as well at home. Okay? You at home want to make your minds up, is what Ted's going to tell us. But I'll tell you about Lewis's strategy and what was important. Thanks for that, Ted.
They want to make their mind up, just like you're going to want to make your mind up watching and then watching at home as well. Right next to them, to their left, is the Mercedes pit wall. They'll have their view as well. You could say for Lewis Hamilton, for in order his strategy to work, he needed to lead at the end of lap 1.
You could say for Lewis Hamilton, he needed to lead at the end of lap 1. Utter bollocks. Utter bollocks. 52 lap race, 190 miles. You don't have to be leading that within the first 5 miles in order to win it. You've got at least one change of tyres. Even if you do get ahead in the first lap, are you going to be certain sure that you're not going to be undercut by Red Bull because they're better with strategy and pit stops than you are? Doesn't guarantee anything. You've set your car up. All of the practice sessions, you're qualifying, you've set your car up to be fast in a straight line, giving you a better car for overtaking in that event. Have you only got one chance to overtake? We've seen a sprint race contested over just 17 laps without tyre changes. After 17 laps, Lewis Hamilton was just 1.3 seconds behind. Not particularly trying. Because unless he was going to do an overtake where he could be certain sure that strap-on wasn't going to connect with him, he wasn't going to risk it, because he wasn't going to risk getting taken out and starting that Grand Prix where 25 points are up for grabs, not just 3, right? Getting taken out of that sprint race and meaning he'd have to start the Grand Prix at the back of the grid, reducing his chance of winning the event that he wants to win, being the British Grand Prix, and earning the 25 points rather than the piss poor 3 points that were up for grab for the sprint race. But look how you're projecting it. You could say for Sir Lewis Hamilton's strategy to work, he had to get it done on lap 1. Utter bollocks. You are painting this picture of desperation, which is not the case.
That was the only chance he would have to stop.
Bollocks. That was the only chance he would have to
Max Verstappen running away with this race.
To stop Max Verstappen running away from it. Brundle has told us at the sprint race the day before, Hamilton's car in qualifying, which actually set the pole position time for the sprint, was the fastest car down the straights. Max Verstappen's was the slowest down the straights. That is what Brundle has told us. But you're now telling us that, the only way that it could have worked for Hamilton was for him to have to overtake him on lap 1. Otherwise, Max would have run away from it. How does that work then? How does that work then?
That's why he was so keen to get it done so quickly, when in previous races he's been able to have the luxury of taking his time.
And what's the difference here? In previous races, he had the luxury of taking it. He had the luxury, did he? The privilege of being able to take your time. Or is it just, that's the way these things work? You involve pit stops. You involve strategy. You involve the driver's ability to perform in an endurance event over 190 miles. Okay? Where you sustain that level of performance. Using that pragmatism. Okay? Using that intelligence. Using that stamina, using that endurance to keep your level of performance high for the duration of the contest that you've entered into.
Decided not to pit him, by the way, because they could see on the pictures the front wing was essentially intact. So we thought they
We're just losing you, Ted. Thank you very much indeed. Tom Cruise is talking to Harrison Ford, and I can't lip read because they've got the masks on, Martin. But I think the conversation is Tom Cruise saying, you know, I do all my own stunts, but I'm not going to do that. No, not if that. Look, I damaged my ankle in the last Mission Impossible film. I'm not doing this. It's a dangerous job, and Max Verstappen going to the medical centre now, and the stewards are investigating.
Oh, what we say? Oh, Max going to the medical centre now. We keep hamming that up, don't we? Max has gone in an ambulance and going to the medical centre. Lewis is going to a comfortable room.
The incident between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. It's under investigation. 2009 Formula One World Champion Jenson Button with us this weekend. Jenson, if you were in the stewards room, if you were Emmanuel Pirro, the driver steward this afternoon, how would you vote for this?
Yeah, it's always a tricky one, isn't it? There's such close racing, such fantastic racing, and they were giving each other room, and I feel that Max gave Lewis the room to.
I feel that Max gave Lewis the room. Thank you for your valuable insight, cunt boy.
A car through there, but it's so difficult when you're on the inside. But I don't think Lewis hit the apex.
Oh, why didn't he hit the apex, Mr. Expert of Formula One? Oh, would that be because Max hit his front wheel before the curbing to the corner, making Lewis have to counter that to actually stop himself from spinning out, which meant he drifted to the left away from that curbing? Because if you slow these down and you take a look, that's what you'll see. But our expert here, allowed to project, allowed to educate the fan, educate the world with the situation, with his expert opinion, tells you that.
This afternoon, how would you vote for this?
Yeah, it's always a tricky one, isn't it? There's such close racing, such fantastic racing, and they were giving each other room, and I feel that Max gave Lewis the room to fit a car through there, but it's so difficult when you're on the inside. But I don't think Lewis hit the apex.
You're a prick. You're an absolute fucking prick. There's a reason why Lewis didn't hit the apex, and you don't have to hit the apex. Take us back to turn 6. Did Max hit the apex? Was there a collision? No, there fucking wasn't. Why? Because the driver on the outside yielded and kept the space. That didn't happen at turn 9 at Cops, did it? Why? Because the driver on the outside is a cunt.
And that's why he ended up in the rear end wheel of Max.
Lewis ended up in the rear end wheel of Max, not the fact that Max chopped across Lewis's line.
Do you think then that Lewis might be getting a penalty for this?
There's a possibility. I think if he...
Do you think Lewis will be getting the penalty for this?
If he actually hit the apex, it's fine, and it's a racing incident, but...
If he hit the apex, it was fine. It's a racing incident. Why didn't he hit the apex? Which is not important anyway, but why didn't he? Because the collision took place before the curbing. When something hits your car, hits that front steered wheel of your car, it upsets the line that you're on. That deviates the situation. Who caused that collision? Lewis is driving towards that curve, looks on course for making that curve until that gets impacted. Who impacted it? The car that drove across him. Whose fault's that?
So difficult to judge when you're on the inside, but still he hasn't hit the apex. He's a long way from the apex, and he's collected Max. So
you can see in my videos, the frame by frames, the apex is bullshit. It's irrelevant. The impact is before the curbing starts because Max Verstappen doesn't yield, doesn't take account of the driver on his inside, chops across, tries to be the car that hits the apex, even though he knows there is a car on his inside. You're not leaving a car on the inside room. You are running it out of track. That's the kind of driver you are, Max Verstappen.
2 seconds, yeah. Jenson.
Michael, have you got a minute?
Just hearing a message.
Yeah, Michael, look,
from
that
Christian
corner,
Horner to
he was
Michael
never anywhere
Massey,
near alongside. Every driver that's driven at this circuit knows you do not stick.
Okay, what you're getting at the moment is a crossover between Crofty and Horner, but they will play this message in full so it's clearer.
A wheel up the inside
was
of Cox.
never ahead
That's an
of Max
enormous
Verstappen,
accident.
and that's an enormous
And it was
accident, he said.
100% Max's
And 100%
corner. So, as
Max's
far as
corner.
I'm concerned,
Christian Horner is
full
telling the
blame
race director
lays on
at
Hamilton,
this
who
moment
should
in time
never
that
have
the
been in
blame
that
is
position.
fully
So,
on Lewis
you
Hamilton,
could
which
have had a
I'm not
massive,
surprised about, Jensen. That's a message
accident.
that
Thank God
I
he's
expected
walked
to
away
hear.
unscathed. So I hope you're going to deal with it appropriately.
Jensen will...
So what you have the annoyance of a Red Bull team, and you have F1 TV, the broadcasting company, choosing that message, which is a recorded message, and making the choice to play that to the world. You can assess what has taken place there. You can assess what sort of incident this is. Let's look at the slow-mos. Let's see if there's a problem. It's a racing incident. Let's not inflame this. Let's not incite the crowd. Let's not wrongly vilify somebody. Instead, what do? They choose those inflammatory broadcasts, those self-serving messages intended to get Lewis Hamilton penalised, to broadcast to the world, to incite the fan base, to condition people's minds. That is what the media has done. The media has projected that Lewis Hamilton is in the wrong. It's allowed Red Bull to project that Lewis Hamilton is in the wrong. Sky Sports are projecting that Lewis Hamilton is in the wrong. The frame-by-frames show otherwise. Yet you've got three entities: Red Bull, Sky Sports F1, F1 TV, all enabling this, all perpetrating it.
Understood, Christian. That's why it's just gone up now.
Understood, Christian. Okay, understood, Christian. We'll pay attention to the understood Christian.
Things have calmed down for a second as under investigation by the stewards.
It's been told to calm down slightly by Michael Massey, the race director, and Michael Massey saying that it's going to be investigated and the stewards will take a look at it.
Yeah, Lewis does end up to an extent, not quite in the middle of the track, but by the time he's navigated through the...
He does end up in the middle of the track. Thanks for that, Martin. Why? Why? Can you tell us what caused him to end up in the middle of the track?
The first corner, he has ended up wide of the apex. There's no doubt about that.
Why? Can you tell us, Martin, why he's ended up wide of the apex?
So will a car on full tanks and cooler?
You're not telling us, are you, Martin? You're not telling us that actually his front steered wheel has been hit by Max's rear wheel, deviating his line, and Lewis has had to react to that, putting some counter steering to keep his car stable in order to keep himself from spinning off the track. And that has deviated him away from that corner. You've not explained that. You, the expert, the presented expert, is not able to educate the global audience that that is the dynamics of the situation.
Tyre, will a car make the apex from the inside like that? It's very dirty, but that's you've got to keep your car under control.
Will a car on full fuel tanks make the apex? Well, we've seen it happen before, haven't we? 2019, we've seen Valtteri Bottas on Lewis Hamilton. We've seen Lando Norris on Daniel Ricciardo. We've seen it countless other times before in other Grand Prix. Yes, it's possible. Yes, it happens. Yes, it's an overtaking point at Silverstone. Will it make it around there on full tanks? Who knows? You let me know what you think in the comments section, you fucking imbeciles that know fuck all about the sport. Or how about the expert tells them rather than asks the fucking question?
It's a very, very close call as to whether that's a penalty.
Absolutely. I think it could take a while to decide. I mentioned that radio message.
Oh, the balance. Oh, we don't know. It could be, it couldn't be. Let's present balance. But you're still vilifying him. Well, yeah, well, he could have been this. Oh, well, he could have been that. Oh, well, he could have been that. Oh, Jensen, what do you think? Oh, yeah, he didn't make the apex, did he? Didn't make the apex. Look at the direction of the narrative. Oh, what do you think, Christian? We'll play your Christian's message to the world.
I was hearing it in my headphones. Let's give you a chance to listen to it as well. Christian Horner talking to Michael Massey, the race director.
Michael, have you got a minute?
Hello.
Yeah, Michael, look, that corner, he was never anywhere near alongside. Every driver that's
Well, we saw them pretty much side by side. So that's lying, Christian.
driven at this circuit knows you do not stick a wheel up the inside at Copse.
That's another lie, Christian. Because we've seen numerous overtakes at that corner. So that's fucking lies.
You know, that's an enormous accident.
Caused by your driver chopping across the line, not yielding, staying on the gas when there was a car on his inside, and instead what he's tried to do is force him to have to yield. So, have a word with your driver and teach him how to fucking drive properly.
And it was 100% Max's corner, so, you know...
No, it wasn't. Rules of engagement. You're lying to fans of the sport about the sport.
As far as I'm concerned, full blame lays on Hamilton, who should never have been in that position.
Anybody that knows anything about the sport, anybody that understands the rules of engagement, knows that that is not the truth. This is what the sports broadcaster is broadcasting to the fans of the sport now. This is what they are getting into their minds to make them think that that is the situation. How fucked up is that?
So, you know, you could have had a massive, you know, accident. Thank God he's walked away unscathed. So,
oh, let's focus on, oh, he could have died there. Okay? Your driver ended up on his head and was fucking wheel spinning on Lewis Hamilton's head. Where's his consideration?
I hope you're going to deal with it appropriately.
Understood, Christian. That's why it's just gone up now that things have calmed down for a second as under investigation by the stewards.
So they're the message in full, and they're the Red Bull mechanics looking at the underside of that car. Is it still live? Are they a bit worried they can't touch it?
That might well, because they haven't moved it away yet. It might well have a battery issue, yeah. Where
So, just as an aside, again, think about Abu Dhabi. We are told with these hybrid cars, they've got the power packs. So therefore, when marshals or anybody needs to recover a car, it has to be safe for which to recover it. And one of those checks needs to be the status of the electrical side of the car so that you don't get electrocuted by it. So these are things that are considerations for recovery of vehicles and therefore can add time to that time of recovery. So bear that in mind for how long it takes to recover Nicholas Latifi's car in Abu Dhabi. All considerations.
we can't see the T-bar. If there's a red light on, it means you cannot approach it.
I've had a chance to look at that footage. Lewis was significantly alongside on the inside of turn 9.
Case for the defence after we heard the case for the prosecution.
So even look at the way that that's presented. As if it's a 50-50 argument. Case for the defence, case for the prosecution. What's the facts here? What is accurate and what is bullshit? Rather than go, well, these people think this, these people think that. Let me know what you think in the comments section. No, let's look at the fucking facts. He's just presented Lewis was alongside. Let's look at the video evidence. Oh, yes, Lewis is alongside. What does the rule state of engagement? Does that mean he's entitled to track room? Yes, it does. Oh, let's play this forward frame by frame to see what happens. Oh, Max Verstappen cuts across him before the curbing to the corner starts. That's a funny angle. That's a strange steering input. He doesn't yield off the gas. Oh, Max has chopped across him. That's what's happened. Instead, we get, the case for the defence. The case for the prosecution.
Let's go to our barrister at the Skypad, Karun Chandok.
Right, I'm going to do a separate video because hopefully I can get the actual analysis of Karun, and we'll break that down so you can see the visuals of this as well. I'm going to just, well, I'm going to pause this for a second. Wait there. Okay. So during Karun's presentation, when it's done on here, you get an interjected message from Jonathan Wheatley from Red Bull, again, that is chosen to be broadcast by F1 TV and Sky Sports. Okay, still talking about the same incident, and then they play them here. So I will do another video. I think my next one will be trying to analyse Karun's Skypad. If I can find that one, which it should be available on YouTube for me to analyse, that's what I'm going to do. Otherwise, I'll have to come back and go through what Karun says. But then we get this.
Thank you very much indeed, Karun. More radio messages for you.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
I've watched this replay several times now, Michael, and I'm feeling really cross about it.
I'm feeling really cross about it, Michael.
I understand, Jonathan, which is why the stewards are obviously investigating it at the moment.
But that corner there, Michael, that's not a place to stick a wheel up the inside of a car.
That corner there is not a place to stick a wheel up the inside. That's the second bastard from Red Bull lying to the world about Silverstone. The fact that you do overtake at Cox, and they're trying to say, oh, you don't put a wheel up the inside there. Well, yes, you do.
I completely understand your perspective, Jonathan, which is why the stewards are investigating it, and that's why they are there.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Notice Massey to Christian. Understood, Christian. Understood. Oh, very polite with you, Jonathan. Yes, Jonathan. Understood. Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good that we now get these kind of correspondences, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good that we now get these correspondence that they've now banned since 2021 because they don't want you hearing them. Okay, but it's good that we got to hear them. No, it's good that they selected those to incite the violence. It's a narrative. You can make the choice to play things to the world which you know are going to cause conflict because you're going to cause that conflict because it's part of your narrative. Or you can listen to a message and you go, what the fuck is he going on about? That if people start hearing that, that is going to incite violence. So you don't play that shit. What he's just saying is utter bollocks. So we're not playing people that shit. But instead, you build the narrative. You incite the crazies. You have Red Bull saying it was Lewis Hamilton's fault. You keep saying it's Lewis Hamilton's fault. You have Sky Sports saying it's Lewis Hamilton's fault.
That we haven't had until this year, but I think it also needs to be said that once the Lewis's left front and the right rear Max made contact, that straightened the steering wheel up as well and moved
Finally, Brundle.
Lewis a little bit wider, but it's a really difficult call. But remember, we're in a season of cost cap racing. That is a trashed racing car, as you can see for yourself.
Oh, poor old Red Bull. Poor old Red Bull. Your driver has just put himself out of the race and into a wall. And in the season of cost cap, Red Bull have incurred some expense because they've trashed a car.
You remember Valtteri Bottas and the accident with George Russell?
Yeah.
About $1.5 million worth of damage on that occasion at Imola.
See, Red Bull aren't the only victims. Yeah, but this was self-inflicted. Red Bull. Strap-on fanboy.
And that's going to be nudging some substantial figures, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really hard to put a price on because of all the research and development and so few of the pieces are made.
And, you know, how much the buffet costs.
But that's a huge cost to Red Bull when everybody's trying to work competitively.
Build the narrative. It was Lewis's fault. That's caused a huge cost to Red Bull. Max is in hospital.
Under a cost cap.
The Jonathan you heard was Jonathan Wheatley, sat at the other end of the Red Bull pit wall. He is the team manager, sporting director for Red Bull. And the man you saw at the right-hand side of the Red Bull pit wall, GP, Giampiero Lambiase, the race engineer for Max Verstappen, who was expecting a very busy afternoon, and after that accident will now sit and watch the rest of the Grand Prix.
And unfortunately for Max, look, he just missed the Tech Pro barrier. the grey barrier to the left of the truck, the digger truck there. And so he went into the tyres and conveyor belt rather than an extra layer of Tech Pro.
So the car finally on the back of the truck and will be driven back to the pits. We're under a red flag here at Silverstone. We got towards Copse on the first lap before the accidents. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, if you're just joining us, they touched. Verstappen went off into the barriers around about 180 miles an hour as they went through Copse. Red Bull protesting that it was very much Lewis Hamilton's fault. Mercedes saying no, he had every right to be there, and the stewards looking into it.
Michael, this is Toto.
Go ahead, Toto.
Michael, I just sent you an email with the diagrams where the car should be. Did you receive that?
Toto, I don't access my emails during a race.
Do you notice Massey's different way of communicating with Toto Wolff compared to understood, Christian? Yes, Christian. No, Christian. Yes, Christian. Yes, Jonathan. No, Jonathan. I agree, Jonathan. That's right, Jonathan. Yes. Toto?
Deliberately, because I concentrate on the race.
Yeah, then you should maybe look at this because there is something with the rules. I'm coming up.
No problem. I suggest if you want to, Toto, feel free to go upstairs and see the stewards directly.
You can fuck off, Toto. That's effectively what Michael Massey there, fuckboy Massey, is the way he treats the two different teams.
You know, in football, where quite rightly recently there's been a huge push to stop players crowding around a referee and trying to get them to change their mind and protesting against the referee. This is beginning to look like something out of a football ground at the moment.
Yeah.
So, you've broadcast two messages from Red Bull. You've broadcast Christian Horner vilifying Sir Lewis Hamilton, putting the blame on him, projecting that Copse Corner isn't a corner where you put a wheel up the inside. Lies. You've had Jonathan Wheatley of Red Bull do exactly the same thing. You've then had Toto Wolff, so two Red Bull messages to one Mercedes message. Toto saying, look, these are the facts. This is the diagrams. Massey go, yeah, not looking at them. Don't look at my emails during the races. And then, and only then, do you get Sky Sports saying, oh, do you think this is a case of these people trying to influence the decision? After Toto Wolff has said something. I think it's wrong that these team managers are trying to influence the decision. After Mercedes have been the recent radio message. And you do exactly the same thing in Abu Dhabi. Oh, I'm not happy about the way that these teams can get onto the radio to tell the race director that he shouldn't be putting the safety car out. That's what the narrative. Yeah, Toto saying that they shouldn't put the safety car out is not on. It's not acceptable. But you didn't mention them saying, oh, you can break the rules and that safety car not do the extra lap. We only don't have to let them go right out of the way. Then we've got a motor race on our hands. Understood? Understood? Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, Red Bull. Yes, Red Bull. Right, that'll do for this one. Hopefully I can find Karoon's analysis on the SkyPad and we'll listen to what that bullshit is. See you in a bit.